रामानुग्रहं रामानुग्रहं सफलदायकं सफलदायकं रामानुग्रहं सफलदायकं रामानुग्रहं सफलदायकं निपुणोपायं वसिष्ठबोधनं रामानुग्रहं सफलदायकं प्रकृतितारक जागृतिरूपं प्रकृतितारक जागृतिरूपं अन्तरात्मम् आत्मविकासम् अन्तरात्मम् आत्मविकासम् हृदयरामं स्वयं प्रकाशम् हृदयरामं स्वयं प्रकाशम् हृदयरामं स्वयं प्रकाशम् You have the invocation. Please repeat after me. अन्तरात्मप्रकाशस्य स्वतो यदवभासनं स्वतो यदवभासनं परमात्मगुणस्यान्तः परमात्मगुणस्यान्तः यच्चित् स्वाहृदयात्मकम् यच्चित् स्वाहृदयात्मकम् The basis for the strategy for success is the important connected slokas from the Yoga Vasishtha. Even though there is a modern approach for this topic, strategy for success, but there is this traditional background which supports this modern approach. So we offer our invocation as it is in the Yoga Vasishtha. So we chanted one of the invocation slokas, which also gives us our clarity of understanding about the main essence of the theme of this topic, from where we draw all the wisdom, all the intelligence, and what is the result of such an attempt by us, all that, and also we offer our salutations to the Supreme Reality in this manner. So the sloka says, Antaratma prakashasya swato yadavabhasanam paramatma gudasyantaha yachit swarudayatmakam. Antaratma prakashasya swato yadavabhasam. There is the shining by itself of the light of the inner soul. Antaratma, the inner soul. Prakashasya swato yadavabhasam. The light of the inner soul or Antaratma shines by itself. There is no need for any other source of light to make it shine. And it shines by itself. And where is it that which shines by itself? That is Antaratma, the inner soul. It is well inside us. That which is Swayam Prakasa, which shines by itself, is not anywhere else but well within ourselves. The independent self-effulgent light is inside us. And what is the nature of it? How is it? Paramatma gudasyantaha yachit swadudayatmakam. It is of the nature of the appearance of sweetness. How is it? It is of the nature of appearance of sweetness. It is nothing but sweetness. It is like the appearance of sweetness. And what is this sweetness? This is consciousness. The sweetness is consciousness. And where is it? Within the trickle, that is the Supreme Self. Gudasyantaha. Within the trickle, that is the Supreme Self. The trickle means the golden syrup. Or in other words, it also means the liquid which comes to appear when the sugar is refined. The thick liquid of sweetness which appears when the sugar is refined, or the golden syrup. That is completely sweet. But in that, if we look inside that syrup, whatever we try to look at, that also is sweetness only. Because the whole syrup is sweetness. Anything inside it also, not only outside it, but inside it also sweetness. So, that golden syrup here is compared with the Supreme Self, or Supreme Self is compared with the golden syrup. And inside that, the sweet liquid, that which appears inside that sweet liquid is consciousness. So that which is completely sweet is Supreme Self. And inside that, if there is a manifestation of consciousness, the Supreme Self manifests itself as consciousness in itself. So that also is sweet. Sweetness here, according to the present context, stands for the joy that arises out of success. When we are successful in any one of our undertakings in this world, what do we do generally? We distribute sweets. Why? Because if this message of my success is not producing sweetness in you, at least by eating this sweet you will become sweet. And that also is a sign of a positive appreciation of others' success, so that we also become pleasant and happy. So, the consciousness, which is a manifestation of the Supreme Self, which is nothing but sweetness, meaning if we are invoking the Supreme Self and also getting connected with the consciousness, certainly we will also experience the sweetness or the joy of success. So, the strategy for success at its highest level is connected with the self-effulgent inner self or inner soul, which is shining by itself and which is of the appearance of nature of sweetness. and which is in the center of the wholesome Supreme Self. Following this sloka, let us also chant another sloka of invocation, which also gives us some more understanding about the higher level of the strategy for success. Afterwards, anyway, we will come to the normal level of strategy for success. So, let us also invoke the blessings through this sloka. Chidruvena swasamvidya Chidruvena swasamvidya Swachinmatram Vibhavyate Swayameva Rupa Hrudayam Vatena Spandanam Yatha Chidruvena Swasamvidya Swachinmatram Vibhavyate Swayameva Rupa Hrudayam Vatena Spandanam Yatha Vatena Spandanam Yatha Chidruvena Swasamvidya Swachinmatram Vibhavyate. Only its own consciousness is perceived by the Supreme. The Supreme reality or the Supreme truth, when it wishes to perceive something because of its own sankalpa, its own will, which is the divine will, what it can perceive? It will perceive itself because there is nothing else. If at all we want to chronologically try to understand in those beginning moments of this appearance of the Supreme Self as consciousness, which is of course beyond this chronology, but still for our mind to understand, if we put it that way, what else is there? There is nothing else but its own consciousness. When you wake up in your own home and nobody is there at home, what you will see? You will see your own things that are there in your own home. And suppose there is a mirror in front of your bed, you will look into the mirror, you see yourself only. You will perceive yourself. If anything else is there, you will perceive that. Everything else is known to you. So what is there to perceive? Like that, there, if at all anything is there, it is only itself. So the Supreme perceives its own consciousness. And what is the nature of the Supreme? That also is consciousness. It is fully conscious. And whatever it is perceiving, that also, the nature of that also is consciousness. How does it perceive? Does it need any mind? Does it need any intellect? Does it need any ego? Does it need any chitta or memory? It doesn't need anything. It perceives itself through its own cognition, its own awareness, its own cognition. It perceives itself. It becomes aware of itself as consciousness. So that is why it is called as through its own cognition. Swachinmatram Vibhavyate Swayameva Rupa Hrudayam Vatena Spandanam Yatha Swayameva Rupa Hrudayam. Its essential nature is perceived by itself alone. Nothing else is there to perceive itself. So its essential nature is perceived by itself. How? Vatena Spandanam Yatha, as movement by the wind. Wind is there and there is movement associated with the wind. The wind perceives the movement. Like that, the Supreme cognizes itself through its own cognition, perceives itself through its own awareness. We are being lifted to that state of cognizance so that we get some conscious input into our own personality, by which we can also heighten our perception to that level of awareness, so that the strategy for success can truly work in our favor. Later on, when we go into the actual connected meanings of the strategy for success and the related points, then we will come to understand that the word awareness, which is used again and again, is very important in order to become aware of many things in us, around us, outside us, connected with us. So, that higher level of awareness is invoked here so that it will bless us with its manifestation, so that we can also utilize that higher awareness in being aware of various things. Continuing further. Jagat Chit Jagat Chit Ikshumadhuryam Chit Kshira Chit Kshira Snigdhata Jagat Snigdhata Jagat Chit Jagat Chit Chaudra Madhuryam Chaudra Madhuryam Jagat Chit Jagat Chit Kanakangadam Kanakangadam Jagat Chit Ikshumadhuryam. The comparison of the consciousness and the world that is manifested by the consciousness in itself. Because this manifested world, in its true real state of existence, can exist only in that which manifested itself, which manifests the world. Where can the world exist? The world can exist only in itself. If the parents give birth to a child, where the child can exist, of course the child that belongs to the responsible parents, in the home of the parents only, with them only, not anywhere else, not outside, not disregarded, not disowned. So like that, when the world is manifested by the consciousness, it exists in consciousness only. So that is compared here. The world is the sweetness of the sugarcane of consciousness. If the consciousness is compared with sugarcane, the sweetness of the sugarcane is the world. So you and I are in the world. Being in the world, if we are experiencing bitterness, that means what? We are disconnected with that which is the sweetness. That is the only reason, that is to tell us that if we are experiencing bitterness because of anything, because of any happening or something not happening or because of something, whatever it is only because we are not connected with the sweetness. And the sweetness, according to the first sloka of invitation, we have already seen that it is connected with the resultant, the experience that results when we gain success. And then, Chikshirasnigdhata Jagat. If the consciousness is compared with the milk, the pure milk, and then the world is the wetness of that milk. When you dip your finger in a pure milk, only that which is connected with that pure milk and the wetness with that touches your finger, attaches itself to your finger. So it is only that pure milk, wetness of the pure milk. Like that, if the consciousness is compared with the pure milk, the world is the wetness of the milk. So in our interactions with the world, if we are not experiencing the connectivity with consciousness, then alone we will find something which is not acceptable to us and agreeable to us and manageable say that there is a different way of viewing the world, interacting with the world, relating with the world, and experiencing the world. This type of interpretation is given here. Jagat Chit Shaudra Madhuryam. Jagat Chit Shaudra Madhuryam. If the consciousness is compared with honey, again pure honey, not the adulterated honey that is there. So if the consciousness is compared with the honey, the world is the sweetness of it. So when we try to taste the honey, what is that which we actually appreciate their sweetness? Of course the medicinal properties might be there, the benefits might be there, that's a different issue. The immediate thing that attracts us to the honey is the sweetness of it. The unique sweetness of peculiar type of honey. Various types of honey drawn from various sources have various tastes which are unique and peculiar to themselves. So like that. And then Jagat Chit Kanakangadam. Always sweetness. What about somebody who has got calculative mind, business type of mind? Such a person also to understand the relationship of the world with consciousness. So then Vasishtha gives here. If the consciousness is compared with the gold, consciousness is compared with gold. Oh, gold. Okay. And then the world is the bracelet. The world is the bracelet and the consciousness is the gold. So gold means the whole gold that is available, and the bracelet is what in comparison with it? One small bracelet and the quantity of gold available in the whole world, which is taken out of the mines and which is not hidden inside the earth also. Iron mines and iron ore is becoming a peculiar news item, but we are talking about the gold mine. Okay. So what is that? When it is compared, bracelet is so small when compared with the vastness of the volume or the quantity of the gold that is available in this world, which is known and not known yet that it is available. So similarly, the world when it is compared, it is like that only. So whatever we gain in this world, when we compare with the consciousness, is practically nothing when we attempt to gain the consciousness. That is one meaning. Another thing is, whatever we gain in this world, because it is connected with the manifestation and expression of consciousness, the bracelet, just as the bracelet is connected with the total gold, similarly, if we get connected with the consciousness, then definitely we will achieve the experience of the sweetness which is the result of the success. So, the highest level of strategy for success is practically very open and very clear. That is to connect ourselves with the consciousness. But every human mind will not be able to appreciate it. That Vasishtha ji also knows. So that is why when he was explaining this strategy for success to Sri Ramachandra, he tried his best to relate this in various levels. So now let us go by the title here, Strategy for Success. Strategy means the science of operations. Various kinds of operations which are related to various fields, various activities. So it is the science of operations. In order to achieve a particular task, many of these government-related programs, the groups that are connected to the programs, the tasks that are given to these groups, they are called operation dash dash dash. Various types of titles are there. So to see to it that the production of milk is enhanced and milk is available everywhere. Somebody said Operation Flood. Flood doesn't mean the rainwaters. So it is connected with the production of milk and encouraging people to get connected with it. Like that there are various things. So it is a science of operations. Strategy also means a plan that is intended to achieve achieve a particular purpose. It is connected with a plan. It is a plan. And what has that plan got to do? So, a plan that is intended to achieve a specific purpose, a particular purpose. If we want to achieve a particular purpose in life, or if someone wants to achieve something which is very specific in their life, planning is necessary. So the plan to achieve that specific purpose, particular purpose, is called as strategy. Strategy also means skill of planning movements. Actually, it is taken from the skill of planning movements in a war with the armies. In a war, there are armies, opposing armies, and skill of planning movements of the armies in the war. But if you subtract the armies and the war, sometimes we are in other way in war with the situations and the various other circumstances. So it is the skill of planning movements. This is the third meaning of strategy. And then the next meaning is strategy is connected with getting an advantage in the given situation. The given situation is common to many. Situation is given, many people are there in the given situation. But the one who has a strategy will gain advantage in that given situation. So if we want to gain advantage in a given situation, then we need to have a strategy. Strategy gives us that capability to gain advantage in a given situation. So situation is given in this competitive world for many. Same situation. But how to really become successful? To gain an advantage. How to gain an advantage? There that plan is necessary. That is called a strategy. That is why strategy, which is connected with these four types of interpretations or different meanings, is also called as Vyuha Rachana Vidya. Vyuha Rachanadi Vidya. And it is also called as Upaya or idea. Vyuha itself means strategy. Planning, it also means planning. So, Vyuha Rachanadi Vidya, and another word is Upaya, and another word is Nipunata. We have already seen one of that meanings. Nipunata means skill. Skill of planning movements. So Nipunata or Upaya or Vyuha Rachanadi Vidya. Basically it is planning to achieve a particular purpose. And in order to achieve that particular purpose, we have to move towards the goal, achievement of the goal. So that planning the movements, you have to plan how to move towards it. And also we need to understand about the science of operations. And finally taking advantage in the given situation. So when we try to understand the strategy in this manner, then we get a clear picture of the strategy. It is not connected with any deception or it is not connected with any manipulation. It is connected here with planning and that plan which is connected with achieving the purpose. Skill, the word skill is very important here in the strategy for success. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, according to Swami Chinmayananda, explains the word yoga in connection with the word skill. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. The 50th sloka in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita has this statement. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Swamiji Chinmayananda interprets this as skill in action is yoga, or yoga is dexterity in action. Both these are the derivative meanings given there. dexterity in action or skill in action. And if we look into the entire sloka, then it gives a true meaning. Buddhi yukto jahatiha rupe sukrita duskrute tasmat yogaya yujyasva yoga karmashu kaushalam. Buddhi yuktaha, one whose actions are all guided by his clear vision. The clarity of vision is very important, and all the actions are guided by the clear vision. One whose actions are all guided by his clear vision of his higher and diviner goal. That is connected with Buddhi Yuktaha. Higher and diviner goal. The vision itself is connected with the higher and diviner goal. So this makes a clear sense. One whose actions are all guided by his clear vision of his higher and diviner goal. The goal is higher and the goal is diviner, and that vision is connected with the higher goal, and all actions are guided by the vision, and that is called as Buddhi Yukta. So Kushalaha has to be connected with the Buddhi Yukta. So that is why here, even though the Karma Yoga performed with the evenness of mind or Samatva Buddhi, Karma Yoga performed with the evenness of the mind is of the form of karma, but still it weakens and eradicates the negative and wicked karma. That is why it is Karma Kaushalam. That is why it is Mahakaushalam. Why it is Mahakaushalam? Why it is the greatest skill? Why it is the highest dexterity? It is related to the higher goal, diviner goal, and the vision, and all actions are guided by that vision. And because it is action-based yoga, because it is Karma Yoga, which is connected with the evenness of the mind, Samatva Buddhi, but that has got the capacity to weaken and eradicate the negative karmas. And these negative karmas are also connected with the strategy for success, because we have to control them, manage them, overcome them, weaken them, eradicate them. The negative karma, in other words, later on it is manifested in our discussions in strategy for success as tendencies, or in other words, vasana or tendencies, which have to be managed. And out of these tendencies, the feelings arise, the thoughts arise, the moods arise. So all these have to be managed. All that is connected with the strategy for success. So that is why Mahakushalam, or the greater skill or the higher dexterity, is connected with the vision and as well as the higher and diviner goal. So this means what? Strategy here is connected with a higher vision, a higher goal, a diviner goal. That is how we started with the sloka of invocation also. And continuing further, this strategy for success, as we have understood that it is connected with the dexterity and skill, which is related to the higher and greater and diviner goal, and as well as the right vision and clarity of that right vision. So it is connected with, related to personal skill and social skill. So the skills which are there are connected with our own personality also, which are called as personal skills, and another type of skills that are necessary, social skills. So personal skill and social skill. And what is this personal skill or dexterity? It is our capability, it is our strength, it is our power to remain aware. That is why we have already said in the the first sloka of invocation about that awareness, and then thereafterwards about the cognition. So it manifests at different levels. In the highest level, the Supreme Self cognizes itself. But in this level, we become aware of various things. So, personal skill means our capability, our strength and our power to remain aware of our objects, meaning sense objects, our emotions and our thoughts. To be aware of, remain aware of our objects, emotions and thoughts, and manage our tendencies. So we are aware of the outer level, that is objects, emotions and thoughts. And then we go into the inner level. We manage our tendencies. And we also manage the expression of all these things, our behavior. So we have to manage two things here, tendencies and behavior. We have to manage our behavior. So our behavior has to be apt. Our behavior has to be correct and right. So when we are functioning in the social atmosphere, our behavior has to be correct. When we want to achieve success, right behavior is important. So we have to manage our behavior. For that we have to manage our tendencies. For that we have to be aware of our objects, our emotions and thoughts. All this is connected. All this is called as samarthyam or yogyata. Yogyata or samarthyam, which in other words means skill or dexterity or capability. Capability, ability. Samarthyam, yogyata or capability or ability. So this is a very important thing. Personal skill. The word is very simple, personal skill. But the thing that has to be done here is very important. Aware of objects, emotions and thoughts. Manage the tendencies and manage the behavior. My goodness, it means managing everything that is connected with us. Personal skill. And then, second ingredient of the strategy for success is social skills or social skill. So what is the social skill? Again, it is our capability, it is our strength, it is our power, it is our ability. Put together in one word, it is our capability to be aware of and understand the. To be aware of and understand the feelings, the motives and the conduct. To be aware of and understand the feelings, motives and conduct. Feelings means moods. Motives means incentives. Conduct means behavior. So to be aware of and to understand the feelings, the motives and the conduct of the other people. That is social skill. Why we have to be aware of and understand these things which are connected with other people, the feelings, the motives and conduct, in order to improve our quality, in order to improve the quality of our interactions in relationships. The quality of our interactions has to be improved. How to improve the quality of our interactions? In order to achieve success, we have to have correct interaction in the society. The quality of our interaction should be improved. Then only we can achieve success. So how to improve the quality of interactions? By becoming aware of and by understanding, not merely becoming aware of, by understanding also. Of what? Of feelings. In other words, moods. Of motives. In other words, incentives. Of conduct. In other words, behavior. Of other people. So, personal skill and social skill. That is the main ingredient of strategy for success. So there is so much to understand about personal skill. So how to achieve that objective, and then social skill. So put it in a very simple statement, in a simple format. Personal skill means how you are with yourself. Simple. How you are with yourself. How I am with myself. How we are with ourselves.
Social skills means, or social skill means how we are with other people, how we are with others. That is all it is. Statements are simple. Ingredients are very important. And the way to understand them needs a lot of application to mind. Simple statements. Personal skill, social skill. How you are with yourself, how you are with others. That is all. That's all. But that is the ingredient of strategy for success. Oh. So this is all it is. That is all it is. Then I need not continue. You need not. So, how to derive these things in such a way that they become tools for our success, for achieving our success. So then, little more elaboration upon this. Personal skills is connected with number 1, managing awareness. Number 2, managing oneself. It is further divided here. Personal skill is connected with managing awareness, and second thing is managing oneself. And then social skill is connected with managing watchfulness and managing interactions. So altogether, managing awareness, managing oneself, managing watchfulness and managing interactions is equal to personal skills and social skills is equal to strategy for success. If this is understood, then we can move further into understanding of personal skill. The first point, as we have already seen in personal skill, is managing awareness. Already we have seen in the invocation the higher level of awareness. But here we are seeing, trying to understand our level of awareness, but connected with the higher level of awareness only. So managing awareness, what it will do to us, it gives us clarity in our understanding of what we do. Whatever we do, what we are doing, it gives us the clarity in understanding of what we do. We have to have clarity about what we are doing. Recently, in one instance, one happening where Puja Guruji Swami Tejomayanji was approached by a small girl only for the sake of chocolate. Because Guruji had chocolates with him, he was giving to other people. So this little girl went there only for the sake of chocolate. Many people go to masters for many things. We know that. Because we are all peculiar temperaments and desires, so we go to masters for different reasons. So this little girl went to Guruji for the sake of chocolate. He gave it. Again she went. Again he gave it. And then Guruji said at that time, she knows what she wants from me. And there are others who do not know what they want from me. That is the point. That is a very important point. Meaning there are many people who come to me, but they don't know what they want from me. But they come. Satsanga, they come. Mahapurusha Sangha, they come. But this girl is not for satsanga, is not for any other knowledge, not for wisdom. She knows what she wants. Chocolate, it is there. Give, go, take, come and that's it. And happy. She achieved her strategy for success. That is all it is. Go there, get the chocolate, eat and be happy. Play and enjoy. That's it. So, we should know what we want also, and we should have clear understanding about what we do also. That is very important. Otherwise we are doing and doing and doing. We don't know why we are doing. That is why sometimes when they are asked, why are you doing what you are doing? I don't know. Somehow I started doing and I am doing. That's all it is. Somebody told me to do, I started doing. Now I don't know why I started. But somehow I am doing. It is continuing. So like that, managing awareness gives us clarity in our understanding of what we do, and it also gives us clarity in understanding what motivates us and what satisfies us. But also we need to have clarity. What inspires us, meaning what motivates us, what satisfies us. What is that which satisfies us? If you don't have that clarity, we run after those things which never satisfy us, and then complain that they are not satisfying us. What can we do? We don't know. So what satisfies us we should know. What motivates us also we should know. And then further, we need to have clarity in understanding which people and which situations make us react. All this is first point. Which people and which situations make us react. So there are certain situations which make us react. There are certain people who make us react. So we should also have clarity about that. Not that the situation makes us react and we react. And we don't know. Not like that. We have to have clarity so that we can manage. That is what is managing awareness. We thought personal skill means how you are with yourself, simple. That simple only is connected with so much. We can remain in a simple way, lead life in a simple manner only when we have the personal skill, which is connected with managing awareness. So managing awareness as a first point, it gives us clarity in our understanding of what we do, and it gives us clarity in understanding of what motivates us, what satisfies us, and it gives clarity in our understanding which people and situations make us react, or in other words, remote control us, or in the modern management terminology, push our buttons. That's all it is. One lady went to encash her check. A check came to her on her name. So she went to the bank to encash the check. When she went into the bank and she approached the teller who is inside the counter, the teller in the bank, and she gave the check. And the teller looked at the check and which had to be encashed then and there. The teller asked her for identification. Identification. He asked identification, madam. Then she took out her mirror from her purse. The mirror from her purse. And looked at herself and said, "It is me only." Identified. I only came to encash the check. It is me only. To which the response of the teller was surprised. And he was just looking at her. So she thought he did not understand what she did properly. So she handed over the mirror to him and said, "You look at it for yourself. Now you check for yourself." He was confused. Then he thought she did not understand. Then he said, photo identification, ma'am, photo. Then she took out from her purse photo album, and from that photo album she took out one of our best beautiful photos, looked at it and showed it to me. Photo. It is me. It was more confusing to the teller. That is a photo, but not photo identification certified by somebody. Photo means photo. Identification, yes, it is my photo. See? Then he could not say, he was just staring at her. Not getting any good response from this fellow, she went into the chamber of bank manager and complained about the teller. That fellow is not responding properly. Manager came out and then looked at the teller and said, "This is your first day of your appointment as the teller. First day at work, you are new. You don't know that this lady does the same action every time she comes." So the manager had previous experiences. That you don't know this lady, she does always the same thing. And then proudly that lady looks at the teller, "See, he identifies me." Identification. He identifies me. Now come on, give. Is that identification? Not at all. Showing the mirror is not identification. Showing the photograph is not identification. Bank manager commenting upon that lady is not identification. Because she is not clear in understanding of what she is doing. That is what it is. That's what it means. Some other card has to be shown. Photo ID card. But she doesn't understand. Like that, in various situations in this world, where we have to act, where we have to work, where we have to do something, we need to have the clarity and understanding. If that clarity and understanding is not there, then how can we work in this world? So what is that which gives us this clarity of understanding? Managing awareness. And that managing is awareness is personal skill. That personal skill is yoga karmasu kaushala. So that is what is strategy for success. One of the ingredients of strategy for success. So then, it is very important for us to understand why something gets a reaction out of us. Why something gets a reaction out of us. We need to understand it. Not that simply mechanically we are reacting and we are fed up with that reaction and we are disgusted with the situation. That we can do in our mechanical living. But only when we become aware, then the clarity of understanding arises. Why something gets a reaction out of us? So actually, the feelings, or in other words, emotions, are reactions to our life's experiences. Feelings are reactions to our life's experiences. So why certain experiences create this type of reactions which are negative, which are not good to us, which doesn't take us towards success? We have to have clarity in understanding those things. I have heard that two prisoners, Sam and Tom, both of them, one day decided to run away from the jail. So somehow they came out of the prison. They came out of the prison. Now they have to go out of the jail. In a big jail, there is a prison. So in that prison they were there, they decided to escape, run away, they came out of the prison. And then they had a discussion between themselves. If the fence of this jail is too high, we will dig a hole. Sam said, we will dig a hole and then escape through that hole if the fence is too high. Then the Tom said, if it is too small, then we will jump over it. If it is too small, we will jump over the fence. If it is too high, we will dig a hole underneath it and escape from the jail. So they went in search of the fence. Then they understood, they discovered that that jail had no fence. Then they came back into the prison. They got back into the prison. But no fence. Now how to do? What to do? If there is a fence, if it is high, they can go underneath it. If it is low, they can jump over. No fence, what to do? They came back. They did not have the clarity in understanding what they are doing, what they are thinking, what they are planning. So that clarity is very important. Similarly, a clarity in understanding what is that which gets a reaction out of us. That is very important. So if we are aware of it, then we can manage things at our personal level. So managing awareness means to accurately perceive our own feelings, our own emotions, our own thoughts in the moment. In the given moment, in a moment, we perceive accurately, the accurate perception of our own thoughts, feelings and emotions. And it also means to observe, to analyze and to understand the inner tendencies. Observe the tendencies, analyze the tendencies and understand the tendencies. So the tendencies, thoughts, emotions and feelings are all connected. So if we can analyze, understand and observe the tendencies, then we can accurately perceive our thoughts, our a very important thing, personal skill in strategy for success. So strategy for success is not trying to control others. It is basically to trying to manage ourselves. And then later on in social skill we will see how we manage our interactions with others. So strategy here is not at all managing others. It is managing things connected with ourselves only, with us only. So then managing our awareness makes us pursue right opportunities. We have opportunities and in them right opportunities. How to really pursue the right opportunity? And there are so many, how to pursue the right one. So managing awareness makes us pursue the right opportunities, and also it makes us put our powers to work, our strengths to work, our capabilities to work. Whatever our powers are there inside, it puts our powers to work. And in addition to that, it does one more thing. It keeps our feelings from holding us back. Sometimes our feelings hold us back from performing better, for performing aptly and properly. Feelings hold us back. So, it will keep those feelings away from holding us back. So how many benefits are there? It will make us pursue the right opportunities. It will put our powers to work, and it will keep our feelings from holding us back, which is very important. When we can achieve all these things, that process of achieving is called as strategy. And that is why it is connected with managing awareness. It also means to have clarity about long-term goals and not compromise with them for the sake of short-term gains, which is very important. In this peculiar world, many times it so happens with people that they compromise with the long-term goals for the sake of short-term gains, temporary gains, momentary gains. They will forget about the long-term goal. Then these compromises will become obstructions later on, and they will become negativities inside. The results of them will become obstructions outside, obstacles outside, and they will hamper our progress, and we will not be able to achieve success. That is what happens actually. So, managing awareness is to have clarity about these long-term goals. In a class, the teacher was really fed up with the dull students who were in majority in that class. The class teacher was fed up with them, and in order to attempt to try to make them very sharp, very active, instead of being lazy and lethargic, one day the teacher looked at the students and said, "The one among you who is the most dullest student, please stand up. Whosoever is the most dullest student, stand up." Nobody responded. Then she changed the statement and said, "The most foolish student, stand up. Who is the most foolish among you? Stand up." Nobody stood up. 5 minutes passed by. Then one brilliant student stood up. The most brilliant student of the class stood up. And the teacher asked him, why are you standing up? You are the brilliant student." Then the student said, "Teacher, I hate seeing you standing alone." Now he thought he has to support her because he doesn't like the teacher standing up. But few of the students might have thought he is standing, so he is the biggest fool. If we are not aware of our own tendencies and the manifestations manifestations of tendencies as thoughts, feelings and emotions. And also if you don't have clarity of various things that are connected with us, then we will be fooled by these situations. We will be fooled by these circumstances and happenings. So in order to avoid such a situation, we need to have clarity. And it also means, managing awareness also means managing the feelings but not allowing the feelings to manage us. We have to manage the feelings but not allow the feelings to manage us. Otherwise sometimes what happens is feelings manage us instead of we managing the feelings. So we are at the mercy of the feelings. And then depending upon the various happenings, and we are affected by them in that manner. And managing awareness also means to remain kind and to keep the conversation appropriate even in the most challenging and difficult situations. Situations are not always conducive or not always easy. Situations are challenging also. Situations are difficult also. In the most difficult and challenging situations, to remain kind and keep our conversation appropriate. What happens to us whenever situations are challenging? Our conversation becomes inappropriate. We don't know what we say. We don't know how we say. But all things we need not say also we say. And we will be harsh. We will be rude. We will be abrupt. We will be disrespectful. So many ways. And we don't know what we are talking also. So conversation has to be appropriate when in the difficult situations, in the challenging situations, and yet we should remain kind. It is a very great level of awareness. Be kind in those difficult situations, and yet to keep the conversation appropriate. How nice. Appropriate conversation happens only when we are kind. Otherwise, it will not happen. If you are not kind, then naturally inappropriate conversation will happen. That is called as managing awareness. Very important. The teacher asked the students to write an essay on a cricket match. To write an essay on a cricket match. Within 5 minutes, one student submitted the answer sheet. The teacher was surprised, and when she looked into it, it was written, "The match could not happen due to heavy rains." Submitted. You say, that is also a way of writing. It is logical and it is rational. It may happen also, it might have happened many times also. But that is not going to fetch the marks. That is not going to get any marks for a student. Even though it looks logical, it looks supported by some past incidents and happenings, but it is not appropriate. Appropriate it is not. That is why sometimes we also talk whatever we want to talk, and then we say it is logical, and sometimes we think it is logical. We think it is logical, that is enough for us to think others are illogical. And we think we have past incidents to support. There might be incidents, there might be some logic, but it is not appropriate. Please understand this. But appropriateness is very important. Just because we have a mouth, we can say we have some 90, so we get the logic, and we have some references, we can quote and cite references, not like that. They have to be appropriate. That is why in difficult situations, challenging situations, to remain appropriate and to remain kind is very important. That is the strategy for success, which is connected with the personal skill, which is again related to managing with awareness. Then another point is not to get triggered and become very demanding. See, people around us, nobody appreciates our demanding behavior. When we become very demanding, you give attention to me, you accept that I am great, you consider only my things, all that is very demanding expressions of our personality. And at the same time, the demanding personality somehow or other in psychological analysis is connected with a personality which is constantly triggered by many things that happen around the person. The personality which is triggered by various things, that personality will become very demanding. The triggered thing may not be visible to everyone, but the personality becomes very demanding, that we can understand. So this means the person is unable to manage one's own inner tendencies and thoughts and feelings and emotions. That is why this personality is getting triggered and is becoming very demanding. Who will appreciate a demanding person? Nobody, even in our own family, even though we may accept, even though we may respect sometimes, but still inside our own mind, we will have our own viewpoints and opinions about the very demanding people. Commanding is different. By the virtue of the quality or the nature, commanding is different. Demanding is totally different. Nobody appreciates demanding people, even though they may heed to their request. But at the same time, the triggering person, getting triggered, any small thing get triggered. And then flare up, and then burst out. So all this is to be managed, which is very important. And that is only possible by managing awareness. And another point is not to get overexcited. And in that overexcitement, we refuse to recognize others' feelings. That's what happens. When we are working in a team, when we get overexcited and we hold on to our point in our excitement, we refuse to recognize others' feelings. That is again a hurdle in achieving success. So the strategy here is to be considerate to others' feelings, to recognize others' feelings. And for that, we need not get overexcited. Inspired is fine, motivated is fine, but overexcited is not fine. That is again, we have to manage ourselves, personal skill. So that is connected with managing awareness, which is again very, very important. So in our conversation also, in our interaction also, we have to be very appropriate. In a class, an invigilator asked the students, what do you call that person who goes on talking and talking and talking even when the listeners are not interested? Goes on talking and talking and talking when the listeners are not interested. One of the students got up and said, class teacher. Not because I have to talk, I talk, but because what I talk makes sense to students and then it is interestingly absorbed by the students. That is why I have to talk. That is the difference between mechanical talking. Just because I have to say, I will say. There are people who say like that. There are students who recognize that type of teachers also. They come, they simply drag the class, tell and then go on. But there are other teachers who might tell few things, but they tell it very interestingly and the message is absorbed very clearly. That's how it is. That is why students look out for those classes which are very interesting and some classes which are very dragging. That it depends not upon the students, it basically depends upon the one who is communicating. So similarly, in our appropriate expressions, we have to keep it interesting and we have also to keep it very absorbing. That is again connected with. So that means what? We should not get overexcited. If we are talking about something, if we are relating about something to others, so we should not get overexcited. If we are overexcited in that, and in that overexcitement we don't know what we are doing. We will talk only about our things. We will talk only about what I feel. And what about others' feelings? No recognition at all. No recognition. That is again not at all proper. So it is said in the Yoga Vasishta, Yavannodita Mucchaistvam Sajjana Sangha Sangataha Yavan Mokhyam Na Samkshinam Tavat Chittadi Nimnata Yavan not born through attachment to association with good people. Yavan modita muchaiswam sajjana sanga sangata. The nobility is born only through attachment to association with good people. So we have to have that attachment to association with good people. Good people here does not mean the people who are projecting good, or the people who are pretending good, or people who are acting good. Please understand. There are people who act good, who pretend good, who project good. That is not goodness. They might be alone or they might be in a group. That doesn't mean that that is a good group or a good person. So what is that goodness? It is the nobility in a person. The noble ideals, the noble thoughts, the noble feelings, the noble expressions in a person. That is nobility in a person that makes the person good. So that is very important. So as long as the nobility is not born through attachment to association with good people, yavan maukhyam na samkshinam. As long as the stupidity is not completely worn away, it is very clear. Yavan maukhyam na samkshinam. So what is the maukhyam here? What is the murkhata here? That is what is the negative side of the mind. Tavat chittadi nimnata. So long there is the lowness of the mind and the life. So long there is the lowness of the mind. As long as the murkhata, stupidity is not completely worn out, so long the lowness of the mind is there. As long as the nobility is not born through attachment with the association with good, the lowness of the mind is there. The lowness of the mind is that which gets triggered, that which is demanding, that which is overexcited, that which never recognizes others' feeling, that which never keeps the conversation appropriate, that which cannot manage the feelings, which is managed by the feelings, that which can never have clarity, that which always compromises with short-term things, that so on and so forth. That is connected with the lowness of the mind. So Vasishtha, when he is trying to tell this to Sri Rama, he gives a clarity of understanding lowness of the mind is there because the stupidity is there. The stupidity also is not worn out because nobility is not born. Nobility can be born only through attachment to association with good people. So that is very important. So one of the main ingredients of the strategy here is attachment to association with good people. So that the nobility is born and the stupidity is born out. So that the lowness of the mind is transcended. So lowness will be there. So then, in personal skill, we try to understand about managing awareness. All this was about managing awareness. Now we move on to the second ingredient here, managing oneself. Managing oneself means it is the capability to tolerate the uncertainty. Are things certain in this world? This world is a world of uncertainty. So, the capability to tolerate the uncertainty. This is called as managing oneself. It is the capability to tolerate the uncertainty and remain flexible in that uncertain situation and remain positive in one's behavior. What a beautiful thing it is. To tolerate the uncertainty, first thing, because we don't know who will behave in which manner, what will happen, when, in which way. We do not know. Nothing is certain. Everything is uncertain in this world. Even the so-called closest things also may suddenly become uncertain. We do not know what will happen, who will behave in which manner. So in this uncertain world, I have the capability to tolerate the uncertainty and remain flexible. Then only we can really respond to that uncertain situation properly. To remain flexible and positive is also important, and positive in one's own behavior. Otherwise what happens? We become negative in our behavior, we become rigid rigid, who are negative in behavior. Why? Because they can't tolerate the uncertainty. They expected you to be in one manner, you are not in that manner, they can't tolerate, so they become rigid, they become negative. That's what happens. And that is not a strategy for success. That is strategy for failure, actually. So, that is why the capability is very important. That is what is managing oneself. This is the second ingredient of personal skill. First one being managing awareness, second one being managing oneself. So, it is very important. So, that is why we have to understand. Life is filled with uncertain situations. That is why flexibility. When we are flexible, we know how to adjust, how to accommodate, how to change our stance, how to change our viewpoint, how to change what we hold on to, how to change our course of action, many things. Because flexibility is there. And positive behavior. Because behavior is very positive. When we come across such people, then we will know the beauty of such behavior. So, then another point here is managing oneself is connected with managing one's own emotional reactions to people and situations. It also means, the third point, it is continuous management, relentless continuous management of inner tendencies, or in other words, of vasanas. Continuous management of the vasanas. Because vasanas themselves or inner tendencies themselves express as our thoughts, our feelings and our emotions, which take control of our behavior, our performance, whatever it is, everything that is connected with us. So, continuous management of tendencies, not once in a while management, not weekend management, not festival day management, the continuous management of tendencies. There was one professor who came back to this staff room dripping wet. So he was drenched in the rain, he was dripping. He came back to the staff room and then looked at another professor there in the staff room and said, I came back to collect my umbrella, which I forgot here. Came back to collect my umbrella, which I forgot here. But he came back drenched, dripping wet. Then the professor who was already seated inside the staff room inquired from this one who forgot the umbrella, when did you recognize that you forgot your umbrella? Then he said, after walking for a certain period of time in the heavy downpour, and when the rain stopped, after that, when I wanted to unfurl the umbrella, close it, then I realized that I forgot the umbrella in the staff room. So till then, he thought he had an umbrella, but he is getting drenched in that heavy downpour. But he thought he has it. Only when he wanted to close it when the rain stopped, unfurl it, then he understood that he forgot the umbrella. Meaning what? Heavy downpour is unexpected uncertainty of the situations. And we get influenced by that, he is getting better. But how to remain free from getting drenched or wet? Not to forget the umbrella. Meaning, not to forget the apt, appropriate response to the situation. That is managing oneself. Which is again connected to managing awareness. I heard about one person who wanted to donate some amount for the sake of tsunami relief. So, tsunami relief, that word is very popular, so tsunami relief, he wanted to donate. So, he called a volunteer and wrote a check, and then for a huge sum of amount for tsunami relief and handed over the check to the volunteer. The volunteer checked the check, verified the check, and then noticed that there is no signature on the check. and then looked at the so-called donor and then said, "Sir, you have not put your signature on the check." And the donor said, "I want this donation to be anonymous. I don't want to boast to everybody that I am donating. I want this to remain anonymous, so I did not put my name on it." And that person is that being anonymous, remaining anonymous, not signing on the check? It is not a donation only. So there is no clarity, there is no understanding of appropriate behavior, how to respond to a given situation. So that is why here it is a continuous management of vasanas or tendencies. And it is also said it is active and patient listening and responding with knowledge and wisdom. Active listening, patient listening and responding with knowledge and wisdom. So like that, there are few more things connected with managing oneself, and then later on we move on to the social skill connected with managing watchfulness, and then managing interactions, and later on we go into elaborate explanation of these things. So that is how we work out our strategy for success. So I thank each one of you for being here on this first day of this satsang on strategy for success. Sarva